Welcome to the Healthy Living Podcast, hosted by coaches Bill and Essen. With so many fitness fads and trends, compounded with hundreds of mixed reviews, it is nice to know that this madness can be simplified into meaningful content, whether you want to believe it or not. There are millions of Americans that are literally eating themselves to death, a learned behavior that has been passed down from generation to generation. Let's connect with the team that has the knowledge and experience to change this.
Welcome, everyone. This is Coach Bill with Coach Eston, and today's segment is regarding eating for body type. This is a one of two-part topic. The second one will be blood type, and that will be our next segment. Do you want to add to the more specific about the body type, Eston, and then I'll go into like a little overview for the listeners.
Yeah, it's just a theory that we have three different body types, and depending on your morphology or your genetics will determine certain foods that your body responds to better than others, as well as certain types of activity. Okay.
So we're going to start with the body type. The first one is going to be ectomorph, then we'll go into endomorph and mesomorph. Now, I must be honest, this is new to me, and so I know probably 99% of the people, do not know what this is all about. Most people just eat. And what we're all about is educating people on there's a method. I'm a big fan of this, method to everything that you do, and especially when it comes to your body. So this is going to be, I think, a very popular topic. So go ahead. I'll let you run with the first one, which is ectomorph.
Yeah, well, there are three types. There's ecto, endo, and meso, and each has their own typical characteristics that you can kind of be honest with yourself when you look in the mirror to determine which type you have. Once you can determine what body type you believe you genetically have, then you adjust your training and eating habits according to reach certain goals. So ecto is the first one. So if you're looking in the mirror and you can think, if you're a little bit older and you've had children and you've had the aging process, think back to when you were young and you felt your most healthiest. And at that time, were you long and lean? Did you have what was called a delicate frame, like a ballerina? The body is similar to a marathon runner. It's difficult to build muscle and fat, and you have a very fast metabolism. So if that kind of is your characteristic, then training-wise, you'll find that it's difficult for you to, like I said, to gain muscle as well as fat. So to help you with this, try focusing on compound movements as opposed to isolated movements. And this is because you will use muscle groups in the one exercise. So it's called multi-joint, multi-dimensional exercise like dance. So do dance aerobics as opposed to just walking on a treadmill. So the bench press works out muscles in your chest, shoulders, and triceps using your shoulders and elbows, in contrast to just doing a bicep curl. Does that make sense? So do push-ups and squats for strength training, do aerobic dance movements for cardio training. So I'm not saying to shun isolate movements and training, but your main focus should be what are called those compound exercises. You can use isolated movements to accessorize or finish a workout. As far as nutrition, ectomorph body types are able to get away with eating more carbs than the other types, endos or mesos. But that doesn't mean that an ectomorph can eat whatever they want and won't affect your body, of course, because you are what you eat. So that being said, it's best to stick to complex carbs that leave you feeling fuller for longer, like a baked potato. It will also help push protein to your muscles to help them to grow, and that like brown rice or brown bread. So just a few little notes on ectomorphs. It can be quite challenging to pack on size, like I mentioned, and it may be beneficial to use additional supplements in conjunction with a healthy or well-rounded diet, like protein shakes that can give an extra boost. So that's ecto. As far as endo,
now, let me stop you there.
Okay.
Let me stop you there. This really sounds like if you're, I'm thinking of high school, like you're a puberty, and then up to in college. If this is more for athletes, it sounds like if you're in training. Am I misunderstanding?
Well, it's ectomorphs. If you remember how I was when I was younger, when I graduated high school, I was 110 pounds, and I was 6'1".
Right.
I was a runner. Remember, I ran, I danced. I was very, very fast metabolism. I was a runner. Remember, we tried to lift weights together, and I was like, no, I don't think so. I was always drawn to running. I was not drawn to pushing weights. I remember I used to say I don't like lifting weights; they're too heavy. But I'd rather run.
Which is true.
You know, I was a hurdler. I was in relay. I was in long distance running. I was drawn to running, and I was thin. So that's like a typical ectomorph, like around your peak, around high school, going into early college. You're right. Before the 20s, and life gets a hold of you, and
gotcha. Okay, cool.
All right,
good. Yep, thank you.
Sure. So moving on to endomorph, again, we're thinking around this time of your life. If you were stocky build, you have a wider body, you store fuel, both muscle and fat, in the lower half of your body, sometimes called a pear shape. You have more muscle that as well, but usually this comes from also fat. So you're solid, you're not fat, you're solid frame, but you can't see the muscles in definition.
Right.
You have a strength advantage, and you have a slower metabolism. So if that kind of fits you, like think of a tackle in football.
Yep.
So in training to help shock the body into losing body fat, if that's a goal, it's best if you're an endomorph to up your intense aerobics exercise by focusing on interval training, what's called high intensity interval training, or HIIT, HIIT. Or what's called low-intensity steady-state cardio, or LISS, LISS. Endomorphs should train their overall body to see results and not just focus on one area. So to further enhance the metabolism, endomorphs should include both what's called hypertrophy, or muscle building, heavy weight, fewer reps, with conditioning. And in this way, the metabolism will be fired up, and that'll last even hours after the training is done. Now, how to fuel your body through nutrition, endomorphs do not have to be such stickler with eating plans like the other two. Unlike ectomorphs, those with an endomorph body should eat fewer carbs but increase their protein intake. The one thing they should avoid are simple carbs like white bread or even grapes, and eat more complex ones, again, like a baked potato or vegetables with a crunch. Remember, endomorph stress levels can cause them to keep fat around their midsection because of cortisol, stress hormones. And to help with that, avoid overtraining so the body can properly recover. And also, beauty sleep. Sleep is very important for all bodies, but definitely endomorphs.
I'm learning more about that. What beauty sleep really means is getting the number of hours needed to allow your body to regenerate. Now, I don't think anyone has a body type where they can sleep 5 hours or less. I think it's at least 6 hours or more, regardless. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't see a body that can regenerate within 5 hours or less. There's just so many hours that you need for your body to be down to repair itself. So, beauty sleep means more like that. I think it's not just you oversleep a lot. No, you need your at least amount of hours. And now maybe on a side note, we can just touch on that real quick, Aspen.
Yeah. Well,
in your expert opinion, what is adequate sleep? What is it?
If there's 24 hours in a day, 12 are light, 12 are dark, and you're up and working how many hours? That's how many hours of sleep. So if you're up working an 8-hour day, a 10-hour day, you probably need that amount to sleep, especially the older we get. Because growth hormone is secreted when we're sleeping, and so growth hormone is what we use to repair as we get older, and to grow and repair when we're younger. So just think of it like that. You're going into suspended animation and stasis.
Sure.
And that's the body regenerates itself. It kind of reminds me of Stargate 1, whenever the aliens had the sarcophagi and they go in there and regenerate or live. That's what sleep is for us. It's meant to regenerate the mind, regenerate the body. And regenerate can be either through energy levels and or actual physical anatomy.
Yeah.
So
okay, cool.
Mesomorphs.
Yep.
So mesomorphs are middle of the body types. They can be lean and muscular simultaneously. They're natural athletes built with well-defined muscles. So in training, in between ecto and endo is where these types fall in. They find it easier to build muscle and lose fat than either ecto or endos, respectively.
So this is more of a genetic.
Yeah, these are all genetic. Okay. These are all genetic propensities.
Okay.
So mesomorph body type, what that means is that the person does not have to go insanely heavy on weights to get results. They can lift moderately and still progress. Of course, however, it's also best to include some aerobic exercise as well, because while you can lose body fat easy, it doesn't mean that you are completely immune. And of course, aerobic exercise helps your heart rate, which that's one reason why to do it, just to keep your cardiovascular system, blood pumping. But also, like we mentioned before, aerobic or endurance, that's the fuel burning energy system. As far as, speaking of fuel, as far as nutrition, mesomorphs, their eating plan should include equal amounts of protein and fat, with a moderate amount of carbs making up for the rest. Like I mentioned with ecto and endomorph body types, mesos should still focus on complex carbohydrates to keep their body energy and keep full in a sustainable and healthy way, so that they're not always feeling hungry.
Right.
Now, one question I usually get is, well, can I be both? Yes. Well, actually, we're humans. As humans, we're technically we're all three.
Right.
But at certain points of our life, we are predominantly two, like an ecto-meso. So there's someone who's lean, but they're soft looking. You can have you can have an ecto-meso. They're lean, but they're really muscular. You can have a meso-ecto.
Right.
There's a whole combination. So again, when it comes to the three different body types, there's, of course, like I said, there's no one size that fits all. And most of us are a combination of at least two, sharing characteristics from both. So our hope is that this post will give the listener information that can then help them identify their body type and see if they share traits from the two. By doing it, the person will be able to adjust, of course, diet and training according to optimize the results for that. So that's.
And one thing I'll add too. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that's why sometimes as we get older, we mourn the body we used to have when we were up and moving around, and that's the body type we're talking about. So a lot of times what happens is remember I said you can be all three? So let's say you're an ecto-meso predominantly, and then you're an endo minor. But then as you get older and the body starts to wear down, the endo becomes more predominant, and you just feel like you're in the wrong body. And that's what we're talking about. So whenever you feel like you're in the wrong body, that's the body type that was the minor in your life, and now it's become the predominant because the other two are being fed and trained correctly.
Great point.
Somebody who's like endo, who's a big thick person, and then they start to lose weight rapidly, and they go, oh, I'm just too thin. I look so thin and gaunt. So it doesn't always mean thin as in. It just means that that's how your body morphs and is telling you that you are getting quote unquote sickly and moving into a dis-ease with your body typing. So to get back to where you feel comfortable, follow those training tips and those nutritional tips. Of course, I always advise seeing a dietitian and a certified and degreed personal trainer to verify and help with the actual details of that.
Right. And one thing that I've noticed, and it doesn't really matter how you're training, complex carbs is in all three of these body types, and vegetables that are crunchy. And can you briefly explain what that means for the listener?
I'm kind of being biased there. I don't like boiled vegetables. It's a texture thing. But so I would always say anything that has a good crunch to it, that means it's dense. It takes time to break it down. So before you like to boil your food, go ahead. But before you boil it, look at the texture of it when it's raw, and that'll tell you if it's a complex or dense food or if it's not. Think of like a tomato versus broccoli. Broccoli is dense. A tomato in its natural form is kind of mushy.
Right. So
the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because I know a lot of people get frustrated by limitations and they always want to maximize their potential. So, like for instance, if endomorphs tend to have more difficulty time losing weight, so just knowing that ahead of time can help endomorph prime their week needed, what's needed, and tweak their diet accordingly, like reducing carbs. This is often a lot of frustration involved weight loss. I think that's what most people are always like. There's an obsession, especially in America, with losing body fat. So that weight loss is a frustration. So I just think knowing your body type can help set realistic expectations and make them more appropriate. That's kind of what I
Agreed. Yeah. And what we'll do is we'll list these 3 body types on our podcast on the subject line. Also, there's a link that will provide how to find out your body type, which is it's a 5-question quiz, right? And that will also help, because it's hard to really picture this unless you this link will really put things together for the listener and make it easier for them to identify which one they fall in. And a good point I'll add in closing here is that as life happens, your body will morph into one of those 3. The combination of the 2 will, as you work out and you try to get back in shape, that's where you may fall into 2. And so it's, again, things take time. Your eating habits, and any habit, it's easy to develop a bad or even a bad habit more than a good one. A good one takes longer. It's just unfair. Just like how many pounds of how many calories it takes to gain weight versus how many calories it takes to lose weight. It's just not fair. It just takes more energy. But it's a marathon. It's not a race. It does take time. So,
and people need to consider that we don't fit into a neat little organization system of the body. We all exist between each body types. We come in all shapes and sizes, and there are of course some exceptions to the rule, to what are called somatotypes. But that isn't the rule for everybody. You know, there is that 1% that we all look up ideal body, the ideal male, the ideal female. Right. And that's not the rest of us. Those are exceptions, not rules. And I think to consider that and give yourself permission just to be who you are. A lot of times I hear women say, I don't want to grow up to look like my mother. She was, she got old and fat. Well, that may not be your destiny, if you will, if you have a different lifestyle. Same thing with men. I don't want to be like my father. He had a big pot belly. Well, again, depending on how you live your life, that may not be your, I remember when I was really training, Mom would say to me, Eston, you were born with a belly. You'll have a little belly. You'll die with a little belly. Just get used to it and love your belly because, you're a dun. Duns have bellies, and that's kind of what I've in my 50s, I've just kind of realized that I don't need to have a 30-inch waistline anymore to feel good about myself.
Right. Yeah, as long as you're healthy. And that's the thing, what's healthy. And we kind of touched base on our last podcast. And we'll touch more about body type here. And blood types is the next podcast. Yeah. It's really about moderation, but also you have to moderately expect results. You can't get results right away. Eating, it takes time to lose weight, lose fat more than anything. With fat loss comes weight loss too. So you have to. Our bodies are made to be in motion, movement. We gotta move, and as Americans, the drive-through mentality that has gone to the wayside. Movement. It's more like just sitting and getting and receiving. When our bodies has not changed over thousands of years. It's the same body, but our environment has changed, and that's what really. And a society, companies, they thrive on our weaknesses, which is quick and easy, sugar-based products, and
the lazy mentality.
Yes.
So I wonder how many children know how to ride a bike in this day and age. When we were younger, that was a goal. If you could ride a bike, you were growing up. A lot of kids today don't even know how to ride a bike.
Train wheels off. Let's go. Yeah.
Remember, I don't know if you remember that we had to take classes like you have to ride with traffic and walk against, and we learned all those hand signals. Yes. I look at people on bicycles today, and they're riding right directly into traffic. They don't use hand signals to make turns, and they even have the seat set wrong. They're too low.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's something that it's black and white TV. That's what it's fallen into, and well, I'll stop there. We're out of time. So,
okay.
Great topic, great discussion, Essen. Thank you as always, and we'll add to part 2, eating for blood type, and we'll add links to this one on how to. It's a 5-question quiz on finding out what body type you really are, and then as always, ask questions, send us a note. We'll be more than happy to help you with this. And this concludes our podcast. This is Coach Bill with Coach Eston. Until next time, be healthy, be strong, be a life warrior.
And be well.
The opinions and topics expressed in this podcast are those of the participants and do not necessarily support the opinions and views of the wellness community. We would love to hear your thoughts, so click on the message button and give us your constructive feedback. Thank you for listening and make a positive difference today.